Hey, it's me Boona. I'm back again with another art making video, and this time it's for the song Above and Within Metal Clouds, which makes perfect sense if you're me. If you're not me, then it doesn't, but I suppose that doesn't really matter. You can have your own interpretation of whatever that means. This one is actually a really early piece of artwork that I did, which you might be able to tell if you've seen some of my later stuff, but it's probably done in more layers than it could have been done, and there are lots of little details in it, like this text effect, which I'm going to try and replicate for you so you can see how I do that in this video. And it should be interesting to try and recreate this one because it's been a long time since I made this. So I'm going to start by making a background layer. So I've got the starting point. And I think I used the blend, no actually I did use the blend tool for this, I know that, I know which mode it was on. I just have to try and find the gradient. Let's see if I can get this the right way around, because I usually end up trying to get it one way and it goes upside down. Which I've managed to do this time. Right. That's better. But let's try and get that to look more like the original. This could take a while. That's reasonably close. Let's try this. There we go, that looks like it, doesn't it? So I think, judging by the comparison with this part of the image and this part over here, that I must have done some airbrushing to like bring this colour out a bit. So let's bring up another layer and colour pick this for my sanity's sake. And that brush is actually about the right size, so I'm just going to do that freehand because that's probably how I would have done it at the time. And what was the next thing I did? It probably would have been trying to create these street lights. So let's give this a go if I can spell. So first thing I did was get some grey. I'm not colour picking this because I tried to do this with one of my other videos and for some reason it wasn't working, and GIMP is just being a bit funny today for whatever reason. So I'm not going to bother. That looks like about the right colour though. There are layers on top of that, I think, which makes that look paler than it probably actually is. But I had this on a really fine brush, for me at least. Probably something like that actually. So let's try and put some of these in. That's one. How many have I got on that side? It's 5. Okay. I did actually try and do some perspective work here as well. Let's see if I can recreate that. Perspective is not usually something I pay that much attention to, but I'm usually doing abstracts, so it doesn't really matter quite so much. That one's not straight. It's really hard to tell whether it's straight or not when it's that precise. I think that is actually straight, but it just doesn't look straight because of that angle, but in any case it's too tall, so let's try that again. You know what that'll do? I'm pretty sure that's actually straight, it just doesn't look it. So let's do some of these on the other side. There we go, that's a straight line. I've only got 4 on this side, so I'll make sure not to do 5 because that's a common mistake for me personally to make. Okay, it looks like I put a little orange circle on top of that. Let's find an orange that doesn't look brown, preferably. That's brown. brown. That looks about right. I'm going to increase the size of this bit. Yeah, that looks pretty similar actually. So I'm just going to put one of those on each of these, and I'm going to try and not have them all the same size because they shouldn't be. There we go. And then I'm just going to airbrush some lighting onto this coming off the street lights. That doesn't look like the original though. It does look good, but it doesn't look like the original. Because the original is supposed to be slightly off. But just something like this. It's not really supposed to look realistic as such. It's kind of supposed to be weird, which is why I've done it this way, because usually I would just do what I did the first time, get an airbrush and make it look all sort of perfect and whatnot, but it actually looks quite nice doing something a bit weird. And there's some extra lighting around here, so I'm gonna do that quickly with a bigger brush, like so. I'm going to lower the opacity of that, I think. There, that's better. And now I just have to try and remember how I did the rest of it. So, first things first, there are some clouds. So, let's try and do those. I'm pretty sure I colour picked something like that off the background. That looks right. And that looks like an airbrush job to me. And I know I didn't try to make this too tidy, so let's just try and make it look reasonably like the original, but not be too obsessive about it, as I can be. You'll see that in my other videos. There we go. And then I've got these little wire things. Let's see if I can get those really close to the originals. I'm pressing the wrong key, that doesn't help. So I think I'll probably use the same grey as I did for the street lights. Actually, I meant to lower the opacity of that, didn't I? I'm going to need it a lot smaller than that. Again, it's very fine, like the street lights. It looks a bit thicker than that, so I'm going to have it slightly bigger. Let's see, how's that looking? That's too thick. That's more like it. And that's actually a pretty decent line to start with as well. Let's make another one that's reasonably parallel. There we go. I had a couple crossing there. This looks like I did this. I tried to be really accurate with this. So let's try and be really accurate as well. That looks pretty close. I mean, you can see in this one the diamond is almost exactly lined up and this one isn't, but if I try to make it exact, I would spend hours doing this, and I have other things going on in my life, so I'm not going to make it exact. And also, this is supposed to be, it's not supposed to be perfect, it's supposed to be a kind of interpretation anyway, because I know I'm not going to make it perfect, and I don't want it to be, so that's fine by me. Why is that bent? I obviously wasn't paying attention. And now this bit I remember taking ages because it's all curved. I was trying to get a really smooth curve. Okay, I've clearly gotten a lot better at doing that since I did the original. Because I remember I took, okay, maybe I haven't, I took ages and ages and ages trying to get these curves to look right. And that might still happen given how they look now. So I'm actually going to erase this part because I'm not happy with that. And do it again. Really I should probably be using a bigger eraser for this, but oh well. It doesn't matter all too much as long as I get all of it. That doesn't look right either. That does that. I'd say I'm not going to spend hours doing it and being obsessively, not obsessively trying to make it look like the original. What do I end up doing? You know what, that's close enough. And then I had all these little boxes on that, didn't I? So let's get those. I probably just used a different brush, didn't I? I think I used this one. I'm going to have to make that bigger. I think what I did was I made it the right side and I cut the ends off. Okay. Yeah, I think I must have done, because otherwise the edges wouldn't have looked as clean as they do. Now I had those little red lights, and it looks like those have been airbrushed as well. Typos. But let's just put the dots in for now. I wonder if that's the right red actually. Shall we see? That looks about right actually. So some of these are 3, some of these are 2. This one had 3. So that one had 2. This one had 3. That's 2. And that's 2. Actually, they might not have been airbrushed, given how that looks anyway. So I suppose the last thing to do, really, is text. So I'm pretty sure I used the same grey again, maybe a slightly lighter one actually. Let's get the text tool out, and it's my favourite font. I am that person. And out. I think that might be too big. Do you reckon? Let's try that. No, that's still way too big. Alright. You know this text box isn't actually the right size, I don't think. Yeah, then that looks okay. If I can type. That's slightly too high. But yeah, that looks okay. Now how I do this text lighting effect is I get the original colour and then I turn it a bit darker, and I'm going to create a layer for that. I really cannot spell today. What's wrong with me? and I use a small airbrush, and I'm going to zoom in on this to make it a bit easier, and I just trace the bottom halves of these, or whatever part I want to make darker. So this is actually very similar to the technique I used for the artwork for The Melodies of Life and The Choir on Number 9. You can see my other videos for that. But yeah, it's actually quite a simple technique. The difficulty here will be because if you look in the original image, there's none of this glow or anything, so I'm now going to have to erase it so that it fits the letters more closely. And purely for my sanity's sake, I'm not making this an hour-long video. God, I'm jumpy today. I'm gonna make sure that I'm not too precise with this, because otherwise I will spend all day and possibly all night doing it, because that's what I ended up doing with the original. It took me ages to do that because it was the first time I'd done it, really, and it took me so long. It was ridiculous. And then the other part of the text, my spelling is atrocious, I do pretty much the same thing. Why must you make noises at me? I get the original text colour and I make it a bit lighter. I'm just going to mute my Mac so it doesn't keep doing that. And I do the top half of this, that. And unlike in some of my other videos, I'm actually doing the lower letters as well, like the A's and the E's. I'm actually doing those ones as well to sort of try and get more of an effect, because obviously it's metal clouds, so it's trying to look like metal without me using the metal text creator on GIMP because I didn't feel like it. I think I actually might have done this part in the original, so I'll just do that. Of course, what you can also do if you really can't be bothered to erase stuff is you can actually get the original text colour. This is something I do sometimes. Spelling. What's wrong with me? I get the original text colour and I just airbrush the bits that I haven't already airbrushed. And then it just looks quite cool anyway. I mean, I'm only doing this roughly so you can see what that looks like as a concept. But yeah, that's quite good if you just really don't want to erase it, or you just like the way it looks with the glow. It can make your text quite hard to read, obviously, but it's sometimes interesting. Like, almost if you want to create a sort of hidden message in something, it's quite cool to try. But that's about that, really. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you found this helpful, then let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time.